On the eve of the college entrance exam, Lu Ruyan tempted her classmates into having a good meal so she could perform brilliantly on the exam. At the school gate there was a wildly popular Wuzuangyuan Xiaobing shop, famous for its mouth-watering aroma. Lu Ruyan, who commuted from home, often ate it in front of us, making us drool with envy seeing Lu Ruyan recommend it. The classmates all hurried to pull out money and place orders with her, saying they had been craving it for a long time, but I advised them that street food wasn't very clean, and it would be safer to just eat the school's plain porridge and eggs, since all this was for the college entrance exam. Although the students were reluctant, they didn't say much and all cancelled their orders. Lu Ruyan, however, still did things her own way and even bought a deluxe set meal on the day of the college entrance exam. After the college entrance exam, Lu Ruyan performed exceptionally well and scored 635, a first-tier university was in the bag, whereas I, on the other hand, failed to make the cut and only scored 550, barely enough for a second-tier university. With my grades dropping sharply on the day she went back to school, Lu Ruyan made a big fuss about how she had eaten Wuzuangyuan Xiaobing on the day of the college entrance exam and had felt incredibly relaxed. When doing the test, ideas came pouring out like a spring. She could understand everything at a glance, and even when she guessed, she got it right. She even encouraged several classmates who hadn't done well to say that the school's egg white porridge had no nutrition and was hindering brain function. That was why they had performed so badly. Otherwise, you could also get into a top-tier university like I did. Somebody told you to eat eggs and drink plain congee, and in the end he himself scored miserably. At once, several classmates who scored 300 or 400 points shot resentful looks at me, no matter how I explained that scoring like that had nothing to do with what they ate. None of them would listen. They insisted that I bear all the costs of their repeated year of study. Because of that, I had no choice but to take a summer job, working several jobs, yet it still wasn't enough to cover their all-day feasting and drinking. In the end, when I truly had no money left to give them, they beat me violently, and even tricked me up to the rooftop before pushing me off. When I opened my eyes again, Lu Ruyan was seducing our classmates into buying Wuzuangyuan sesame pancakes, proper nutrition in place, and acing the college entrance exam is no longer a dream. Upon hearing this, the students rushed to place orders with her, saying no wonder her grades were so good. It turned out she got her nutrition supplements every day. In my previous life, I tried to stop them only to end up dead miserably. This time, I was going to watch them all get diarrhea in the exam room with my own eyes. At that moment, seeing that I remained unmoved, Lu Ruyan walked straight over with a smile and said, "Qianqian, aren't you going to taste it? Tomorrow at school, as usual, it'll probably be nothing but bland porridge and eggs again. That'll definitely hold you back." Looking at Lu Ruyan's smile, I could clearly sense her ill intentions and shook my head to refuse. "I don't want to eat it." The Wuzuangyuan Xiaobing stall at the school gate is a popular internet-famous street vendor. It live streams every day to attract customers, and business is booming. To prepare for the Gaokao, they even came up with a slogan, "Eat Wuzuangyuan, and you'll top the imperial exam." For a while, quite a few parents really planned to send some over on the day of the Gaokao to share in the good luck. In my previous life, I accidentally caught the vendor using scissors to trim fingernails, and I thought it might be unclean, so I tried to stop them. I never expected my kindness to be repaid with such ingratitude. They can even blame me for doing poorly on the exam. Absolutely absurd. This time around, I won't interfere anymore. Let them eat it. One bite and they won't make a sound. Do they really think Lu Ruyan scored well because of that sesame flatbread, and that I did badly because of the plain porridge and eggs? Nonsense. On the day of the college entrance exam, Lu Ruyan ate plain rice porridge and eggs, while I ate Wuzuangyuan sesame flatbread. That day, I had just bought breakfast and was on my way back to the classroom. When I went to the restroom first, when I came back, I saw Lu Ruyan eating my breakfast. Just as I was about to question her, she threw a Wuzuangyuan sesame flatbread at me. She suddenly said she was craving congee and wanted to trade me for my Wuzuangyuan sesame flatbread. She also said her flatbread came as a deluxe combo with egg and sausage, that I should be grateful for the bargain and not act all smug about it. I was so furious, but I had no choice but to eat it. I figured it probably wouldn't be a big problem, right? Sigh. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't possibly go into the exam hall on an empty stomach, could I? As a result, once I was in the exam hall, my stomach hurt terribly. After running to the restroom several times, I completely blew the exam. My grades dropped from first in the class to the middle of the pack. I missed out on top universities. Meanwhile, Lu Ruyan, who secretly drank my plain rice porridge and ate my eggs, successfully took over the top spot in the class and won the 50,000 yuan scholarship, becoming the center of attention. In my past life, I already felt something was off. It would have been bad enough if she had just tempted my classmates to eat street food before the college entrance exam, but she even stole my egg white congee. Thinking about it now, Lu Ruyan did it on purpose. She must have known that those sesame pancakes weren't healthy and deliberately set me up, all just to snatch my spot as top of the class and get the scholarship. Afterward, she even said I failed because of plain congee and eggs, and incited my classmates to hate me. What a bitch. Hearing my answer, Lu Ruyan frowned. Everyone else ordered it and you didn't. Isn't that inappropriate? I feigned surprise. What do you mean? You want to force me? Lu Ruyan said quickly. No, there has to be a reason, right? She stared at me. I felt that look was malicious and said casually, I love drinking plain congee and eating eggs. What's it to you, Lu? Ruyan looked at me for a while, said nothing, and continued urging the classmates to place orders for her sesame flatbreads. In no time, most of the classmates had placed orders, and the few who didn't want any were aggressively persuaded. Lu Ruyan even shouted out loud, the more people there are, the greater the strength. If everyone eats together, the effect will be even better. She was frantically enticing them, and a few of the usually underperforming guys at the bottom of the class were practically starting to worship her as a god. They all pinned their hopes on that sesame flatbread to change their fate and reverse their lives. Naturally, they also crazily pressured the classmates who hadn't ordered to place an order. We were under tremendous pressure, as if not placing an order made us sinners. Before long, I was the only one left. Lu Ruyan brought a few boys over to me and said in a fake sweet tone, Qianqian, everyone has ordered one. You won't be the only one who doesn't, right? You wouldn't want to ruin everyone's effect, would you? I couldn't be bothered to pay attention and kept reinforcing the points I had learned. I took the exam once in my previous life, and quite a few of the key points still left a slight impression on me. I believe I'll do even better this time. Song Qianqian, are you deaf or something? You got first place yourself. Do you not care whether the rest of us live or die? A fierce-looking boy slammed my desk hard. I was startled and looked up, only to see the smug expression on Lu Ruyan's face behind him, and my heart sank. This boy was her lapdog, and in everyday life he would grovel crazily for Lu Ruyan. Unfortunately, he was a 600-plus scorer. For trash like him, who could only score in the 400s, it was just a game of treating him like a dog. I cursed with a sullen face. Did a pig eat your fucking brain? Can eating a sesame flatbread make you fly? With your IQ, you can basically say goodbye to the college entrance exam. The boy's face flushed red. You dare insult me? He was just about to make a move. I was not afraid at all. Is there anything wrong with what I said? So when coercion doesn't work, you want to resort to violence. Go ahead and try touching one of us. None of you are getting away. Upon hearing this, Lu Ruyan stopped her bootlicker and frowned, saying, Song Qianqian, do you really want to sabotage class unity like this, using righteousness to pressure me again? Too bad I'm not buying it. Have you lost your mind too? Can you eat a sesame flatbread and somehow end up with a whole bunch of baby sweet cabbages? You, don't insult Ruyan. The simp couldn't help but snap at me. I snorted coldly. So what if I curse? Keep yapping, and I'll tell the homeroom teacher. Then nobody gets any. Lu Ruyan immediately accused me. You're going to tattle to the homeroom teacher. If everyone does badly on the exam, it'll all be your fault. A few boys instantly glared at me. Get lost. You think everyone is as twisted as you? I shouted. Everything needs evidence. Slander can get you jailed. Our homeroom teacher is still alive. Lu Ruyan's expression changed several times before she let out a soft snort. If you won't eat, then don't. When everyone else gets good scores and only you flunks, you'll regret it. Her sycophant immediately followed. That's right, don't come begging us for a bite of the top scorer cake tomorrow. I waved my hand impatiently. So many flies this late at night. I'm fucking first in the grade. Why would I need to believe that? To me, you guys look more like a lump of dough. Lu Ruyan and the others left in anger. As the evening self-study period was about to end, the homeroom teacher came over to give a few instructions, and finally mentioned something about food. It's best not to suddenly change your diet during the college entrance exam days, so as to avoid getting diarrhea. In previous years, there have been quite a few cases during the college entrance exam. At this, the classmates all turned to look at Lu Ruyan. After the teacher left, many classmates went to Lu Ruyan to cancel their orders. This made the latter extremely angry. You believe that too? It's obviously some guy who couldn't get any pie and went to the homeroom teacher to tattle. Just doesn't want you to do well on the exam. they hesitated again. At this point, I rushed over and cursed, "Lu Ruyan, are you an idiot? What does this have to do with me? Why didn't I notice before that you were this disgusting? If I were to snitch, would the teacher just give a few reminders? Did a donkey kick your brains loose? You can pin everything on me." Truly absurd. Lu Ruyan's pretty face turned bright red from being scolded, and she suddenly collapsed onto the table, sobbing, "I just wanted everyone to be able to eat top scorer pancakes and do better on the exam. What did I do wrong? Why are you doing this to me?" Wah! At once, the eyes around us all turned on me with ill intent. I was utterly disdainful. "For everyone's sake, you can just slander me however you want." Unbelievable. After saying that, I turned and left, not even bothering with that bunch of guys. In my past life, I had already seen right through them, with nothing to do with them. They just stood by and watched. I was only trying to help them, yet they didn't appreciate it at all and even kicked me when I was down. I'll go back to the dorm, get a good night's sleep, and tomorrow I'll have my healthy and delicious plain porridge and eggs. After I got back to the dorm and washed up, I lay down on the bed. I heard from my roommates that in the end, no one cancelled their order, because everyone had been made embarrassed by Lu Ruyan. She even dumped the blame on me again. What a character. The night before the college entrance exam was so tense, yet I didn't dare say much. Even with experience, I was the same. In the middle of the night, someone muttered, "If you've got Xiaobing, what's there to be afraid of? The one who doesn't have any probably can't even sleep." Absolutely outrageous. 3 years of effort are going to be overturned by a single sesame flatbread. Who cares? I slept like a baby. Early the next morning, I got up even earlier than in my past life. After quietly washing up, I got ready to head out. By this time, the broadcast had already been on for quite a while. My roommate had only just gotten up, and if she finished washing up before heading to the cafeteria, she should still make it in time. But not only did they not get up, they even mocked me for having to buy breakfast myself. "We've got the top scorer giant sesame pancake to eat." I shook my head without saying anything. After a hearty meal at the cafeteria, I returned to the classroom carrying an empty lunchbox. At this moment, Lu Ruyan was fervently scoring pancakes. Everyone's face was beaming with the joy of the approaching victory in the college entrance exam. "Ruyan, this big sesame pancake smells so good. I feel like I can score 600 points. The simp took a big bite of the pancake, wearing a flattering expression. "I can already smell the fragrance. I can't wait to dig in. We're about to step into the doors of a top-tier university." A male classmate took a deep sniff, drawing it deep into his lungs like something out of an epic, and wore an intoxicated expression. Lu Ruyan glanced at me and smiled. "I had the master make it early this morning, and I've been waiting for so long. Thank you, Ruyan." "Thank you, Ruyan." The classmates all thanked her in turn. As soon as she said that, I became suspicious. Would someone like her be so kind-hearted? Sure enough, I saw many classmates with strange expressions, even looks of disgust, as they glanced at Lu Ruyan, seeming to say something but holding back. They wanted to say something, but seeing her surrounded like the center of attention, they didn't dare. They could only endure the nausea and take a bite of the sesame flatbread. Damn it. I saw several of them puke, and they're still eating it. Could it be leftover from the night before? I ignored her, went back to my desk, put away my lunch box, kept it tightly covered, and then started reading. She wouldn't be able to sit still. Sure enough, not long after, Lu Ruyan came over and pretended to be puzzled as she asked me why I wasn't going to the restroom. "Heh, is this girl not spying on me every day? I've already had it in the dorm," I replied without turning my head. "Oh, then you're not having breakfast?" Lu Ruyan asked again. I ignored her, but she kept pestering me and took out a sesame flatbread. I happened to buy one extra. "Want to try it?" I hadn't even said anything yet when her simp couldn't sit still anymore. "Ruyan, what are you making for her?" "Oh, I just ate something a little greasy. I want some plain congee to cut the grease, and I'm sure Qianqian won't refuse." "Right." As Lu Ruyan spoke, she reached over to take my lunchbox. "I don't eat sesame flatbreads. Can't you understand human language or what?" Lu Ruyan's expression changed slightly. "Song Qianqian, how can you say something so hurtful?" Her simp scolded me, but I didn't care at all. "Blame me, you didn't say anything when someone was shamelessly pestering you." Ruyan, don't give her any. She doesn't deserve to eat something this good," the lapdog said angrily. Lu Ruyan said nothing and returned to her seat. After morning self-study, it was time for morning reading, and I felt like someone had been staring at me from behind the whole time. I didn't pay it any mind. As soon as morning reading ended, I got up and pretended to go to the bathroom, but I came right back as soon as I stepped out of the classroom. Then I saw Lu Rian rummaging through my lunch box. "What are you doing?" I shouted. Lu Rian felt a little guilty, but it was quickly masked by anger. "Where's your breakfast?" I quickly walked up to her and snapped. "What does my breakfast have to do with you? Are you trying to steal it? You're not eating your big sesame pancake." Lu Rian argued that she was afraid I wouldn't have breakfast, so she specially brought me a big sesame pancake. Just as I was about to refuse, I suddenly smelled a foul, sour odor and couldn't help gagging. "Get lost. What is this? It stinks so badly. It's gone sour. Won't I get diarrhea if I eat it? Did you buy the overnight stuff on purpose? Are you trying to harm me?" The string of accusations made Lu Rian's face darken as she shouted at me. "Don't slander me, everyone was eating just fine." "Fine my ass." I saw XXX running to the restroom. I immediately fired back, then provoked her. "If you think it hasn't gone bad, why don't you take a bite? I've never even seen you eat one." Just as Lu Rian was struggling, her lackey snatched the sesame flatbread away and glared at me. "Who says this flatbread is spoiled? This flatbread is fantastic." As he spoke, he gulped it down in big bites. Even pretending it was delicious, I was dying of laughter. You could smell the sour stench from a meter or two away, and he could still force it down. "Isn't the college entrance exam coming up in a bit? If you eat something bad and mess up your stomach, you're finished. 3 years of hard work will go up in smoke." The simping lackey immediately dared not eat anymore. He forced himself to say there was nothing wrong with it, then demanded that I apologize. "You didn't even finish eating." "What am I apologizing for? She doesn't even dare take a bite, so what am I apologizing for? Get the hell out of here. Don't make me get diarrhea." I waved them away impatiently. The two of them returned to their seats in anger. Soon I saw the simp run out of the classroom, risking being discovered by the teacher to buy bread and milk for Lu Rian. Then he immediately covered his butt and ran to the restroom. The teacher soon came over and asked who had been running around. Before the other students could speak, I tattled. "Teacher, it was XXX who bought milk and bread for Lu Rian." "Strange, she already ate a sesame pancake this morning, didn't she? Could it be she didn't dare to eat it?" The classmates immediately started whispering to one another upon hearing this. "What pancakes? You can eat whatever you want after the exam." The homeroom teacher didn't notice anything amiss and told us to study quietly and adjust our mindset. Seeing the ugly look on Lu Rian's face, I was in a great mood. After a long while, the simp finally returned to the classroom, feeling completely drained after all that diarrhea, and got scolded by the homeroom teacher. I immediately mocked him. "Did eating those sesame flatbreads upset your stomach?" Just as the simp was about to answer, the homeroom teacher noticed something was off and asked sharply, "What's scallion pancake? Didn't I tell you not to eat random things? Didn't you eat the cafeteria's plain porridge and eggs?" The whole class lowered their heads, feeling guilty. That bootlicker muttered a weak objection, saying it wasn't nutritious, then grinned sheepishly and said he'd gotten sick from eating something else. Heh, what a bootlicker indeed. The teacher didn't say much, only told us to take care of our personal hygiene before the exam and not waste time going to the bathroom in the exam room. There was still half an hour of study hall left, and during that time many students ran to the bathroom clutching their stomachs. Some even went down a floor because the bathrooms weren't enough. I could see Lu Rian was terrified, even eating bread cautiously. Of course, I wasn't one to miss out on the excitement, so I said loudly, "Lu Rian, didn't you eat a xiaobing? Why are you still eating bread?" I saw XXX all run to the restroom. "You didn't buy it specially for your classmates to eat, and you're not eating it yourself, right?" The whole class immediately stared at Lu Rian, especially the few classmates clutching their stomachs, their eyes full of resentment. I saw Lu Rian's face turn ugly and kept going. "If this delays the college entrance exam, TSK. The bootlicker had just come back from the toilet and sprang up, cursing, "Song Qianqian, don't you fucking slander people. Rian just wasn't full, huh? Go crap your guts out. Just don't end up stinking up the exam hall with shit." I pinched my nose in disgust. The bootlicker flew into a rage and immediately tried to make excuses. "My diarrhea has nothing to do with the xiaobing. Besides, aren't there plenty of people who are fine? They must have just eaten something they shouldn't have. See, I'm not even farting anymore." A thunderous watery fart. It disgusted the whole class. The simping dog's words came true instantly, and he clutched his butt and hopped off to the bathroom. Hee. I looked at Lu Rian, who remained silent, and was just about to speak when I saw her collapse onto the table and start sobbing. 6. I just wanted to let everyone eat delicious xiaobing. What did I do wrong? The Xiaobing wasn't even made by me. At once, my classmates all glared at me. Song Qianqian, you're going too far, isn't it just an upset stomach, a few trips to the bathroom and it'll be over? Exactly, do you have to be so aggressive? The exam is about to start, who knows what kind of motive you have? Exactly, afraid of losing first place. 666, I threw up my hands, that flatbread was already rotten and stinking. She wanted to hurt you guys, didn't she? Idiots. You're unbeatable. They immediately panicked and said they'd be willing to be harmed anyway, telling me to stop babbling. We do it willingly. In that case, I was relieved and said no more. I'm warning you, when the time comes, don't blame me, no need for your warning, we'll take responsibility ourselves. What else could I say? After reviewing for a while longer, the bell rang, and the students gradually packed up their things and prepared to enter the exam room. I watched as several classmates were still running to the restroom, and I sneered inwardly, not bothering to pay them any mind. Putting it out of my head, the college entrance exam was what mattered most. After sitting down in the exam room, the papers were handed out quickly. Looking at the familiar questions, I was overjoyed and naturally started answering them furiously, but very soon, a thunderous fart shook the exam room. A boy was clutching his stomach, gritting his teeth. It was obvious he had diarrhea, but he refused to leave and was forcibly holding it in. In the end, even the teacher could barely stand it. She stood in front of him, trying to persuade him, only to see that his eyes were red and filled with tears. PFF, it feels like I just pushed something out. The teacher couldn't hold back a gag. The next second, the boy dashed straight to the bathroom in a panic. I know that guy. He was one of the boys who followed behind Lu Rian yesterday, forcing me to order Xiaobing. A godlike man who expected Xiaobing to defy fate and change his destiny. He was also the ruthless guy who pushed me off the rooftop in my past life. Pull it, after you're done, throw the poop at Lu Rian, was just as wildly rushed in my past life too. I only wrote the title for my essay and lost a brutal 50 points. That also made the exams that followed a haze. I performed way below my usual level, and my total score fell by at least 100 points. Fortunately, that won't happen now. Everything is going smoothly. I even finished the test paper 45 minutes early, and then went into a frenzy of checking it over. During that time, I saw the boy running to the bathroom again and again until he had completely emptied himself, and in the last few minutes he was lying on the desk crying. How pitiful. The bell marking the end of the Chinese exam for the Gaokao rang. After I handed in my paper, I left. Before I went, I saw that boy still crying, and all I felt was satisfaction. Next, it's Lu Rian's trouble, right? But just as I was walking back to the dorm after getting my meal, I was immediately surrounded by a group of classmates. What the hell? What's going on? Before I could even say anything, a girl was already glaring at me with a face full of resentment. Song Qianqian, you're so vicious. Oh my god, what did I do? You knew those sesame flatbreads were spoiled, yet you still made us eat them. What are you trying to do? If you don't give us an explanation, don't even think about taking the college entrance exam. A boy looked utterly crazed and even wanted to hit me. I was enraged. Are you idiots? What does this have to do with me? Lu Rian was going to give me sesame cakes to poison me. I only knew they were bad after I smelled the rancid stench. Besides, she bought the sesame cakes. Shouldn't she have known even more that they were bad? Why don't you go find her instead of coming to me? The classmates all shook with surprise, but the girl still wouldn't give up. Then why didn't you order a sesame flatbread? Did you already know she was going to harm us? I was speechless. Then why didn't you all just not buy it with me? So why don't you go find Lu Rian, the one who hurt you, instead of coming to me? I just don't like eating sesame flatbread. The teacher already said not to change your eating habits, but you wouldn't listen. I've eaten plain congee and eggs for 3 years. What's wrong with liking something? There's still math this afternoon. If you want to keep pestering me, go ahead. I'll report you to the homeroom teacher, and then none of you can even think about the college entrance exam. As I spoke, I shoved past them directly, then turned back with a cold laugh before leaving. Lu Rian didn't even eat it. She did it on purpose to harm all of you. Why don't you go find her instead of targeting me, an innocent person? I already said there was a problem this morning, but each and every one of you was as stubborn as a bull. Didn't you say that if there was a problem, you take responsibility yourselves? Didn't you say you were happy to eat spoiled, stinking food? Didn't you say not to blame us? So now you have the nerve to come looking for me. The classmates all felt ashamed, and soon several of them were close to breaking down. So it turned out that Lu Rian had run away under the cover of her simps, and to top it off, she even slandered me as if I had known about it. The students who got carried away in the heat of the moment could only come after me and block my way. This is outrageous. Now they all knew it had nothing to do with me, and they burst into desperate tears. Wah, I haven't even finished my essay yet. I'm doomed. I haven't even written it yet. I only wrote down the title. I only got as far as the dictation part. They complained to each other, growing more regretful and more furious. Damn it, let's block her this afternoon. Before the math exam that afternoon, I followed my roommate and watched from a distance as they blocked Lu Ruyan, who was sneaking out as a day student, at the school gate, clamoring for an explanation. You bastard, the crepes you bought us were rotten and stank. You ruined our Chinese exam. You have to give us an explanation. The eyes of the few boys were bloodshot. Their grades were already bad, and now they were completely screwed. The simps desperately shielded Lu Ruyan, arguing that she meant well and that it had nothing to do with her. Besides, the crepes weren't made by her. Exactly. I didn't make the pancakes. Why are you scolding me? Lu Ruyan's eyes were red. Then why didn't we see you eat any? And you still say you didn't harm us, several classmates said angrily. Who says I didn't eat? I did eat. I ate outside the school, Lu Ruyan argued frantically, and a lot of people are fine, aren't they? If there's a problem, you should go find the pancake stall owner. I kindly brought it for you. What does it have to do with me? You only know how to bully me, a girl. Wah. As soon as she started crying, the simps went berserk and screamed at them frantically. They were a little flustered, but they didn't give up. Song Qianqian said you did it on purpose to harm us. You must give us an explanation. What the hell? This involves me too. I felt a little panicked. Lu Ruyan became agitated upon hearing this. Song Qianqian is a bastard. Obviously it was she who made me. Woo-woo. She cried and refused to say. And only after the classmates kept pressing her did she say that I was the one who had ordered her to do it. At once, the classmates all angrily cursed me, saying they were going to screw me. I'm so done with this bunch of brainless idiots. If they'd just think for a second, they'd know I had no motive to commit a crime. That bastard is really good at putting on airs. Lu Ruyan, try slandering me again, you fucking bitch. What does this have to do with me? I rushed over and cursed. Lu Ruyan suddenly felt a little guilty, but she put on an even more pitiful act. Qianqian, I didn't mean to rat you out. I'm sorry. I looked even more like the culprit. Sorry. My ass. I burned with rage and looked at the security guard uncle beside me. Sir, please help me call the police. I refuse to believe I can be slandered in broad daylight. The old man immediately pulled out his old-fashioned phone and handed it to me. I took it and was about to call the police, seeing that I was going to report it. The classmates held back the foul words on the tip of their tongues and watched quietly as the situation developed. Lu Ruyan immediately couldn't sit still. Don't call the police. Everyone immediately turned to look at her. She panicked and said that exams were coming up, and they'd talk after the exams were over. I went completely insane. Damn NMB, you're slandering me and still want to take the exam. No one's taking it. Call the police. As I spoke, I directly pressed 911. Lu Ruyan completely panicked and gave the simp a look. The simp immediately came over to grab the phone. I screamed hysterically. Lu Ruyan, what do you mean? Are you feeling guilty? And you still want to smear me? What reason would I have to hurt my classmates? The classmates immediately understood and surrounded Lu Ruyan, cursing her furiously. It's her, guilty little ghost. What are you doing? Suddenly, a familiar voice rang out, and the classmates immediately stopped, staring at the newcomer in terrified silence. Their homeroom teacher, and in an angry mood. Teacher. Lu Ruyan cried as she ran into the teacher's arms. Striking first, she said she had kindly brought them sesame flatbreads, only to be met with abuse. The classmates nearby were panicked, all saying that after eating the flatbreads she brought, they had severe diarrhea all morning and completely botched their Chinese exam. The classmates all burst into tears, a truly moving scene. Then go find the boss. What does it have to do with me? I'm just the one carrying the Xiaobing. Lu Ruyan was in tears, pear blossoms in the rain. You insist on slandering me, saying I deliberately brought you stale, spoiled Xiaobing. How was I supposed to know it had gone bad? Wah, she even deliberately glared at me. The homeroom teacher immediately realized how serious the situation was and flew into a rage. Didn't I tell you not to change your eating habits? Something this serious happened and you didn't even tell me. Do you still even have me, your homeroom teacher, in your eyes? You are being extremely irresponsible with your own lives. I'm furious, the homeroom teacher furiously cursed at the students were all scolded into tears and didn't dare to argue back. I looked at Lu Ruyan's smug expression and immediately said, Teacher, it was Lu Ruyan who insisted that it could improve grades, and that's why they bought it. She even pressured the classmates who hadn't bought it to purchase it. Lu Ruyan's face changed slightly, and she shouted at me not to slander her. But unfortunately her protests were drowned out by the classmates' complaints. That's right, it's all her fault, and she didn't even eat any. She tricked us into eating it. The homeroom teacher immediately turned to glare at Lu Ruyan and scolded her. And you, why did you bring sesame pancakes for your classmates? Lu Ruyan cried aggrievedly, saying she had meant well too. Unfortunately, we still got criticized. Kind-hearted, what kind of kind-heartedness is that? Would a kind person bring a roadside stall? Lu Ruyan burst into tears, and the simp went barking wildly. In the end, the homeroom teacher had no choice but to let us go take the exam first and said the matter would be investigated afterward. The comm math class passed quickly, and it was still no challenge for me. After all, I still had some memory of it from my previous life. After class, the classmates all rushed to block Lu Ruyan, only to find out that she had run off again. The simp desperately held back the classmates who wanted to go after her, telling them to go cause trouble for the street stall owner. Instead, and not to go after his Ruyan, the classmates chased all the way to the school gate, only to see the homeroom teacher, the police, and a whole group of leaders gathered outside the school. Lu Ruyan was also stopped and questioned, and the classmates all swarmed over. Under Lu Ruyan's confrontation, the stall owners quickly confessed everything. It turned out that last night, he had already told Lu Ruyan that there wouldn't be enough time to make so many for the next day. It was she who insisted on having them made, saying that it was fine to make them the night before. Ah, I never said that, boss, don't slander me. A girl, Lu Ruyan screamed, her eyes red and teary, the picture of a victim. Instantly, everyone started blaming the vendor, very angry. Damn it, that's not a reason for you to sell those stinky, spoiled flatbreads. The boss simply stopped caring. I know this isn't right. It's my fault and I admit it, but this girl isn't exactly a good person either. Lu Ruyan said nothing more, only kept crying. At once, even more people cursed the boss for being shameless. To think he would bully a young girl. The boss's face turned red with anger. I said loudly, that's right, boss, what evidence do you have? How dare you slander a girl's innocence? Ruyan waited at your stall for a long time this morning, you know, when it came to evidence. The vendor immediately came to his senses and shouted that he had live stream footage. At once, Lu Ruyan's little face turned deathly pale. She shot me a glance, then immediately cried to the police officer, he's selling unsafe food, hurry and arrest him. The police frowned slightly, sensing something was off, and said calmly, if you said something like that, you might be suspected of being an accomplice. Lu Ruyan immediately burst into tears. Officer, I'm just a kid, I'm not even an adult yet. The teacher also pleaded that she was just a student. The police hesitated. I spoke again. Yes. Isn't it just one college entrance exam? If I fail, I'll just retake it. Everyone was startled. Yes. It's about the lifelong futures of more than a dozen classmates. Can't this be reduced from a big issue to a small one, and from a small one to nothing at all? Song Qianqian, you bastard, are you just afraid I'll surpass you in the college entrance exam and take the scholarship? Do you really have to target me like this? Lu Ruyan's face was twisted with rage. I looked completely wronged. You're even planning to trick me into eating sesame pancakes today, and you're also slandering me for conspiring with you to buy those pancakes. What's wrong with me saying a couple of fair words? You, Lu Ruyan was about to say something else, but her classmates turned on her in a swarm, crazily berating her and demanding an explanation. She's already an adult. I just gave her a birthday present last month. A classmate leaked the information. The matter only died down after the parents came. It was said that they would wait until after the college entrance exam to discuss compensation. The next afternoon, the bell rang for the final subject of the college entrance exam. After I handed in my paper, I walked over to the boy who had been in the same exam room as me. Seeing that he still looked a little dazed, I sighed. You could have gotten into a first-tier university or a second-tier university. His eyes instantly turned red, and his whole body began to tremble. Soon after, our homeroom teacher held a brief class meeting. After giving us a few reminders, he let most of the students disperse. Then a dozen or so parents and police officers entered. I didn't pay attention to what happened in the end. I went back to the dorm to pack my things and get ready to go out for dinner with my parents and younger sister. Dad helped me carry my things to the car, and we chatted while sitting in traffic. Suddenly, an ambulance pushed its way into the jammed line of traffic, and the parents' cars all pulled aside to make room. I had a feeling about it, so I opened the dorm group and immediately learned the news. Lu Ruyan had been stabbed. blood gushing from the wound, and the assailant tried to kill himself but was stopped by the police. It turned out that Lu Rian's parents didn't want to pay a single cent. At first, they said it was the vendor's responsibility, and then they said it was the classmates who had eaten things recklessly. In the end, they even demanded that the classmates compensate them for emotional distress and errand fees. Then there was a boy who, after being frantically berated by his mother, lost control of his emotions, pulled out a hidden dagger, and just stabbed her. I heard it was in a very serious area, so I didn't dare ask. Anyway, it had nothing to do with me. Karma, I guess. In the end, Wu Zhuangyuan Xiaobing was found to have a slew of food safety problems, was fined and shut down, and also faced huge compensation claims. The boy who stabbed someone was sentenced to more than 10 years. When his mother took him in, she finally shed tears of regret and said she would never force him again. Lu Ruyan became paralyzed and could only spend the rest of her life in a wheelchair. After hearing the news, the simping guy pursued her crazily. After being rejected, he was said to have done something very out of line to her and was sentenced to 10 years. All the classmates who ate the foul, spoiled sesame cakes failed the exam and had to repeat the year, and I, on the other hand, was the top scorer in the city and high school, and the calls from Tsinghua and Peking University were blowing up my phone. Sigh, so torn. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. Boyfriend went out to walk the dog but ended up losing it. He looked as calm as ever. Kangol suddenly bit me. We can't keep this dog anymore. I had a huge argument with him, when suddenly I saw a comment, the female supporting characters. Dog has been given by the male lead to the blind female lead as a guide dog, and it's about to get hit by a car and die. I'm so anxious. If the female supporting character could see the bullet screen, that would be great. Hurry to the park at the south gate of Runjing Garden. Damn it, if it were a typical romance novel, I'd just mindlessly ship them, but giving away someone else's hard-raised puppy. The male lead is a beast. Sob, sob, sob. The puppy can't leave its mother. I immediately grabbed my car keys and dashed out. Who says bullet screens are all fake people? I think there are more good people. Guanxini, where are you going? Come back here. I rushed out too quickly. When my boyfriend Song Muyang caught up with me, the elevator had already started moving. I heard him outside, fuming. Fine, you're something. All these years of our relationship mean less than a dog to you. If you leave, don't even think about coming back. Initially, I still had some doubts about the authenticity of those comments. Hearing him say that, I instantly became certain. After all, he usually refers to himself as Kong Li's father. Yesterday, he didn't have time to celebrate my birthday because of an emergency surgery. He held Kong Lu, looking like the picture of a loving father and obedient son. Lure, Daddy made Mommy angry. You have a big face. Can you get Mommy to talk to me? Otherwise, Daddy will have to sleep on the couch tonight. It's so cold, so miserable. What if I freeze to death? Kangol is an exceptionally smart little dog. As soon as it heard Daddy say that, it immediately whimpered with sadness, wagging its tail. It placed its head on my lap to plead for mercy. Two pitch-black eyes, round and glistening, as if it were the one who had done something wrong. Now, looking back on it, my tears are flowing. Kong Lu, who usually trusts and relies on Song Muyang so much, he could say something like, "It's just a dog." If he weren't feeling guilty and defensive, why would he stop pretending? I just don't understand. He was always so gentle and considerate in front of me. How could he suddenly change like this? Why did the female supporting character drive away? The plot is different from the original, right? Shouldn't she have first had a big fight with the male lead, driving him away to find the female lead? The bullet comments gave me the answer. It turns out I'm a supporting character in a romance redemption story, and Song Muyang is the male lead. A girl named Su Ruru is actually his female lead. Su Ruru was his patient, suffering from acquired eye disease. She had a pure appearance and a tragic background. She was blinded by the family's preference for boys over girls. With no one to confide in, she would pour out her sorrows to Song Muyang, her attending physician. During each visit, Song Muyang's feelings evolved from pity to heartache, and then to affection, gradually appearing in her life, acting as her guardian, helping her solve various problems, desperately wanting to save this melancholy and beautiful girl, becoming a ray of light in her darkness. As for me, his official girlfriend, he would just brush me off whenever possible. Yesterday's so-called emergency surgery was nothing more than Su Ruru accidentally cutting her hand while slicing fruit. He rushed her to the hospital to treat the wound that would be too late if they didn't go soon. At the hospital, Song Muyang received the video I sent him of Kangol Wang Wang singing, "Happy Birthday." Su Ruru kept praising Kangol for being adorable, saying she liked Kangol. Finally, with teary eyes, she said that if she could have a puppy like Kangol by her side, she couldn't imagine how happy she would be. "Dear Song, do I not deserve to have such a puppy for the rest of my life?" Her words made Song Muyang determined to steal my dog. He took advantage of the opportunity to walk my dog and gave Kangol to Zuru. "Come back and lie to me." Saying that Kangol is lost, I suppress my anger and drive the car at full speed. How dare he? Kangol's mother passed away early, and I raised it with a syringe, drop by drop, in my heart. Besides my parents, it is the most important thing. Song Muyang clearly knew what he meant to me. Unforgivable. As soon as I drove the car to the south gate of Runjing Garden, I saw Kangol. It was being dragged forcefully towards the road by Zuru, who was dressed in something similar to Louis Fei's plain water three-piece outfit. Kangol is an Australian shepherd, and he has never undergone guide dog training, nor is he suitable for such a role. He was being dragged along reluctantly by Zuru, his paws barely touching the ground. His eyes darted around nervously and helplessly. He's very intelligent, and perhaps he realized he had been given away by his daddy, but he couldn't understand why he had been given away. Her face was filled with disappointment and longing, her mouth moving as if muttering something, although far away and inaudible. I could tell it was calling out, "Ma." Ma. Whenever it was being spoiled, scared, or happy, it always called me that. I couldn't wait to rush up and hold it tightly in my arms, but the bullet screen stopped me. "Don't go down." Side character. The big truck is coming right now. If the dog sees her and runs straight over, and the main character hesitates to let go, they'll get hit. Although I don't understand why the female supporting character suddenly appeared here. According to the original plot, the female lead insists on dragging the puppy across the street. When the puppy sees a big truck coming and wants to run, she stubbornly stands still, and the puppy, unable to break free from the leash, will also be hit and killed. Just hearing them talk makes my heart race. It's as if Kong Lo is already lying on the ground, bloodied and mangled. I quickly shouted loudly, "Which direction is the truck coming from?" The bullet screen paused for a moment, then immediately scrolled, "Can she see us? That's great, we're saved." The puppy is saved. The truck is coming from the opposite direction. There are 5 minutes left before the puppy is dragged onto the road by the female lead. Hurry up. I dare not waste a single second. Immediately drove the car onto the road and saw the large truck about a kilometer away. I hurriedly honked frantically and made a U-turn, flashed the headlights at the truck and gradually slowed down. The truck was carrying heavy cargo. It was difficult to brake quickly, but fortunately, I warned early, and it was gradually slowing down. Finally, it was less than half a meter away from my car. I saw Su Ruru, who had already dragged Kangol onto the road. With a determined bite, I slammed on the brakes. Screech. The large truck behind me, having lightly touched the rear of my car, also came to a steady stop. I scrambled out of the car, as the bullet screen predicted. Su Ruru stopped in her tracks upon hearing a car approaching. She merely covered her ears with both hands and let out a loud scream. Konglu, tightly leashed by the rope around his arm, couldn't escape. Forced to lower his head and tuck his tail between his legs, he looked utterly resigned, like a pitiful creature awaiting its fate. I forcefully pushed Su Ruru away, who was still screaming incessantly. I snatched the leash and hugged Kangol tightly, running to a safe spot by the roadside. My palms were drenched in cold sweat as I kept stroking Kangol. "It's okay. It's okay. Everything's fine now. Mommy's here." Seeing it was me, Kangol immediately wagged its tail and licked my face, nuzzling its head deep into my embrace. The choked throat was filled with, "Mama, mama." The truck driver got out of the vehicle, ready to scold me, but then he saw Su Ruru sitting on the ground, crying out. He turned his anger towards her, pointing and yelling, "Are you crazy? Don't you know how to cross the street? You want to die, huh?" Suddenly, he was shoved by someone. Song Muyang had arrived at some point without notice. He looked furious, gripping the truck driver's collar tightly, his threatening gaze dark. "If you can't speak, then shut up. A grown man can't drive, only knows how to bully a young girl. Want to fight? I'm ready anytime." He looked fierce, full of protective instincts, but when he was with me, he never stood up for me against others. He always told me, "The theory of yielding for happiness is right. We just ignore those who act tough. It's not worth sacrificing yourself for these people." Although I felt he had a point, I still hoped he would protect me. Only now do I realize that his yielding had nothing to do with happiness. It had to do with liking or not liking. This time, for another girl, he didn't back down, then he got punched in the face by the truck driver. The driver was strong and burly, and Song Muyang, a rich young master, wasn't a match for him, getting hit several times. The comments on the live stream were going wild with laughter. Ha 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 ha, Big Brother doesn't indulge you. In the original plot, the puppy died, and Big Brother couldn't bear it, so he didn't bother with these two. Now that the puppy is fine, Big Brother finally has room to act. Su Ruru hugged her head and shrank to the side, still screaming. If she could see, I could see Song Muyang being utterly undignified, pinned to the ground and beaten. I wonder if he felt as embarrassed as I did. However, they kept blocking my car, preventing me from driving away, so I had to call the police. It wasn't until the police arrived that the two were finally separated. Song Muyang still couldn't resist showing off his so-called CEO demeanor. He picked up Su Ruru with a grimace, and even took off his coat, covering her head with it, his voice gentle. Don't worry, Ruru, with me here, no one will laugh at you. Only then did Su Ruru, with teary eyes, hug Song Muyang tightly. I'm not afraid of being laughed at, I'm only afraid of being killed by that dog and never seeing you again. Song Muyang's face showed a heartbroken expression. I'm sorry, I thought it was quite gentle and gave it to you to keep you company. His eyes turned cold. If I had known it almost caused you, I wouldn't have let it off. No. Su Ruru quickly shook her head, looking innocent and kind. The dog is innocent, it's the person who trained it who is too bad. Don't blame it, okay? After saying that, it seemed like she just realized something. She covered her mouth. I'm sorry. That's not what I meant by saying something bad about your girlfriend. I don't have the right to. Silly girl, Song Muyang interrupted her urgently, affectionately patting her head. You're the one who's hurt. There's no need to speak well of her. The dog has been raised like this. She doesn't need to keep it anymore. I'll take care of it. As he spoke, he instinctively began searching for the dog with his eyes. Then he saw me behind him, holding Kong Lu, looking at them with a cold expression. A look of shock flashed across Song Muyang's face. Instinctively, he let go of Su Ruru in his arms, but soon, he regained his composure. You're here, the dog is found. He still maintained the tone of our argument before I left, but when he looked at Su Ruru, his voice softened unconsciously. Thanks to my patient for keeping an eye on you. Hurry up and thank her. It's just that Kangol was too not sensible, stopping in the middle of the road and refusing to move, almost causing an accident. It can't speak as a dog, but you, as the owner, should apologize. He's really calm, lying without even a draft. If it weren't for those comments, and if I hadn't seen the whole thing with my own eyes, would have been fooled by him. Su Ruru naturally tugged at Song Muyang's sleeve, her tone a mix of coquettishness and mild reproach. Forget it, Dr. Song, after all, my sister is your girlfriend. It's embarrassing for her to be talked about in front of so many people. She turned her face towards me, her expression gentle, eyes devoid of life yet subtly exuding a challenge. But sister, it's not a good habit to train dogs to relieve themselves on the street. I actually know a place that trains dogs. Why don't you let me take Kangol and train it to be well behaved? It would be good for all of us, don't you think? I hadn't even spoken yet. Song Muyang immediately nodded in approval. Ruru is right. Kangol really needs proper training. Border collies are highly intelligent dogs, and if not trained well, they can be troublesome. I took it for a walk, and it could still run off. It's been spoiled. He was eager to stand up for Su Ruru, who had nearly been killed by Kangol, reached out to snatch the leash from my hand. Better give it to Ruru, let her help train the dog, so it doesn't cause trouble later. I quickly pulled the leash behind my back, turned around and gave him a loud slap across the face. Slap, you despicable man who stole my dog, how dare you say such things? My grip was strong, and I slapped Song Muyang's thick face so hard it instantly swelled up. He widened his eyes in disbelief. His first reaction wasn't anger or guilt, but he kept looking me up and down with his eyes, as if he had never known me before. No, he feels a sense of unfamiliarity towards me. After all, I usually speak to him in a gentle and soft manner, but when people are in love, who doesn't put on an act? And how could I not feel a sense of unfamiliarity towards him as well? Just because of the live comments, I completely saw what kind of jerk he is. Su Ruru screamed again, reaching out to shield Song Muyang's face, warning me with a drawn-out tone. Will not allow you to hit, smack. I turned around and slapped her again. Try speaking to me with your upper palate resonance again. I've been holding back since earlier, just standing there and squawking. Are you a shrieking chicken, or both a shrieking chicken and a chicken? After saying that, I reached out and slapped her again. This slap is for Kong Lu. You know why you deserve it, enough. Song Muyang finally snapped out of his shock and shoved me forcefully. Ruru can't see, and you're bullying her like this. Do you even have a conscience? I was pushed by him and fell to the ground. Oh no, this time, the police who hadn't been able to stop it in time due to how quickly everything happened, and the truck driver who had been observing from the side, and the surrounding onlookers all rushed forward. What's going on here? Hitting a woman? Are you even a man? Kong Lu also understood that his mother and father had completely broken up, so it decisively pressed its body against me, barking furiously at the soon-to-be ex-father. Bark, 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 bark. Song Muyang was still playing the gallant protector at this moment, holding Su Ruru, with an air of debating a room full of scholars. Didn't you see that she hit Roro first? Are you all blind? Is she wrong for helping her find the dog? A girl among the onlookers sneered. Who knows if she was helping find the dog or stealing it? After all, you, as someone else's boyfriend, weren't you also stolen by her? Another girl chimed in. Exactly. If my boyfriend yelled at me while holding another girl in public, I'd beat the both of you. You should be grateful you'd even survive until tomorrow. Hearing this, Su Ruru's face immediately turned red. She hesitantly pushed Song Muyang away. Dr. Song, you'd better not bother with me anymore. I didn't know that being helped by you would be considered seduction by my sister. She bowed stubbornly yet wronged in my direction. I'm sorry, it's my fault, sister, please forgive me. I gave a cold smile. It takes two to tango. Although you're a despicable person, Song Muyang is also a scumbag. Neither of you needs to apologize. Just stay locked together and don't contaminate the market. Guan Shini. Song Muyang was so angry that the veins on his forehead were about to burst. He charged towards me, but was stopped by the police. What are you doing again? If you hit someone again, come with me to the police station. At this moment, Su Ruru wiped her tears and suddenly spoke in a soft, gentle voice. Officer, I don't understand. It was my sister who started hitting me first. Why didn't you take her to the police station? You wouldn't have some kind of private relationship with her, would you? I never expected that one day I would be sighing in a romance novel, thinking how terrifying sexual obsession is. The side characters in this book are all so normal. It makes me feel like the main couple are crazy, but it was really the female antagonist who made the first move, and it looked like she hit pretty hard. What if the male and female leads insist on pursuing this? The police officer looked stern. Spreading rumors about the police carries legal responsibility. This is your first warning. However, Su Ruru believed she had the police officer's weak point in her grasp. A smug expression appeared on her face. She stuck out her tongue at the police and hid behind Song Muyang. Song Muyang also seized the opportunity to accuse. Officer, Ruru is right. She hit us first, and I pushed her only as self-defense. He showed the bruises on his face. I demand to go to the hospital for an injury check. And also Ruru, who was slapped by her. We don't know what impact it might have on her eyes. He glared at me viciously. If anything happens, you'll be waiting in jail. Also, I can never be with a vicious woman like you again. We're breaking up. I wasn't fazed at all, nodding. I agree to break up, then looking at the police officer who seemed a bit troubled and full of sympathy for me. However, officer, this matter, I'll settle it privately with him. Why, this time? Su Ruru couldn't hold back, speaking in unison with Song Muyang. You think it's settled just because you say so. Su Ruru suddenly noticed her tone was too forceful, coughed twice, and returned to her delicate, tearful voice. Is it because I'm blind that you can trample on my dignity so easily? I am also a human being. I have human rights too. After saying that, she intentionally or unintentionally grabbed Song Muyang's jacket again. Song Muyang's heart melted. His protective instinct flared up again. Guan Shini, we have no relationship anymore. I won't show you any mercy. Just wait. Suddenly, his voice stopped abruptly, because I showed him my phone, on which was the complaint letter I had already prepared, reporting to the hospital where he works, accusing him of having a romantic relationship with a patient during the continuation of their doctor-patient relationship. Attached is what I just took from the side. Su Ruru throws herself into Song Muyang's arms, hugging him tightly. It's clearly filled with deep affection. The hospital where Song Muyang works is a top-tier tertiary hospital his father managed to secure for him through connections, plainly stipulated, no romantic relationships between doctors and patients. Mild cases result in dismissal. Severe cases lead to license revocation, so when Song Muyang saw this report letter, his face immediately turned pale. He glared at me with red eyes for a long time. My jaw clenched and unclenched. Finally, with reluctance, I forced the words out from my throat. Officer, let's settle this privately. Su Ruru looked up in surprise, her voice trembling. Dr. Song Muyang patted her reassuringly, unabashedly saying, good girl, your health is still the most important. Right now, I'm really worried about your eyes. We should hurry to the hospital now. Let me give you a thorough checkup to set my mind at ease. Although Su Ruru really didn't want to let me off the hook, but hearing Song Muyang show such concern for her, a blush still rose to her cheeks. I know, you're the best to me. Song Muyang seemed to regain his charm as a man right in front of me. He wrapped his arms around Su Ruru and ordered me. Since we've broken up, it's my freedom to be with whoever I want. As my ex, you have no right to interfere with my feelings, nor should you meddle in my work. Also, it's no longer appropriate for us to live together. I hope you can pack up your things and get out of my house before I bring Ro back. His house, he only paid half the rent. How did it become his house at the time? He found it troublesome, so he still signed the contract under my name. However, I really didn't want to continue living there anymore. Just thinking about having lived together with him made me feel sick. Of course, they won't be able to live in peace either. I ignored Song Muyang and got into the car with Kangol. Leaving directly, I called a moving company and went to the rental house together, packed up everything of Kangol's, my things, and everything I paid for. Song Muyang is a doctor and usually doesn't have time to buy household items, so whatever is needed, he just sends money and I do the shopping, from large items like furniture and TVs to his clothes and personal items. Fortunately, I had the foresight to have him note automatic gift every time he transferred money. At the time, he was quite unhappy and asked me, is it really necessary? Now it seems, it was absolutely necessary. I had the moving company clear out my entire home, leaving it completely bare. The bullet comments were all watching the spectacle. Ha 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 ha. Our supporting female lead has awakened. The male lead and female lead's fortune is broken. According to the original plot, Kong Lu would be hit by a car and die. The male lead would dispose of the body directly and keep it a secret from the supporting female lead. In the end, the supporting female lead would be so heartbroken that she couldn't take it anymore and break up with him, making him the one who was hurt. As a result, less than 2 days after the breakup, he brought the female lead back and they were living comfortably in the house. Now, who's living there? Haha, there's only the load bearing wall left. Not just that, I said cheerfully to them, previously, to save trouble, he would just pay me a year's rent in one go. I shook my phone. I told the landlord that I won't be staying after next month, and now the liquidated damages are being paid with his money. Song Muyang didn't have the time to find a more affordable place that was also close to the company. He had to continue living here. I told the landlord that I had moved in a hurry and hadn't had time to sort through my things, so she could deal with them as she pleased. By then, Song Muyang had finally managed to get everything set up, maybe not even get through the door. The bullet screen laughs. Amazing, my treasure, well done. That's how you deal with scumbags and bitches, who told them to cross my bottom line. I stroked Kong Lee's little head. Puppies can't leave their mother. If anyone dares to touch my child, I won't let him off. Unfortunately, there was no concrete evidence of him stealing the dog, otherwise, would have made sure he ended up in jail. Still, I followed the advice from the live chat and installed a few surveillance cameras in more discreet corners. After all, with what I've done, Song Muyang definitely won't let me off easily. He might even team up with Su Ruru to plot some revenge. Know the enemy and know yourself, and you can fight 100 battles without disaster. After doing all this, I submitted the report letter. Laughable, he actually believed I would let it go so easily. It seems that my previous gentle and tolerant demeanor still gave him the wrong impression. I took Kong Lu to the vicinity of the pet hospital I own and rented a 2-bedroom apartment. Before, because I liked Song Muyang, I rented a cramped suite on the commercial street for roughly the same price. Every day, I had to take an hour-long subway ride just to get to the shop. It's really quite a bad deal. Not only is the living space more spacious now, but it's also lively and full of the warmth of human interaction. Stepping out the door leads straight to the market, and just a few steps away is the snack street, where neighbors greet each other warmly. It's just too comfortable. It seems like my previous infatuation with Song Muyang, the desire to conquer the cold doctor and make him reveal the warmth that belongs only to me, like a vague and unclear dream, gone with the wind. This is awakening, baby. You've broken free from the plot the author had planned for you and embarked on a new life. From today onwards, you are no longer the paper character Shi and I Guan, but our good friend. Sure and I Guan, Kangol seemed to have quickly emerged from the gloom of being betrayed by his former dad. It couldn't wait to explore every corner of its new home, and it returned to its previous mischievous self, wagging its tail. It brought over my tablet, which it had pawed open to reveal a new pull toy. This guy, looks like it's enjoying itself more than me. Ha ha ha, I didn't realize before. Is Kong Lu like this? Wu Kangol must be comforting mom in his own way. Dogs always know who loves them the most. The dog is great, and the people are great too. The comments warmed my heart. Thank you, you're great too. Warmth lasted no more than 2 hours when my phone suddenly rang. It was Song Muyang calling. I directly added him to my blacklist. Unlucky people, don't come near my new life. Not long after, the police called me. Is this Miss Guan Shini? Someone has reported you for theft. Please cooperate with us and explain the situation. I heard Song Muyang shouting on the other end. Are you out of your mind? I'm warning you, return all my things. Do you know how many files I have on that computer? If you lose them, you'll be waiting for jail food. I remained calm and composed. Officer, everything I took was purchased by me, including his computer. I lent it to him for free. Does that make it his? All the purchase records and receipts are with me. If needed, I can present them all. Just so. I raised my voice. He's slandering me like this. I'll sue him for defamation. When the evidence is clear, he should accept the penalty. Don't cry foul. Do you need me to come over right now? It fell silent over there, no words spoken. Then came the police officer's somewhat angry voice. Is what she said true? If it is, it's easy for her to sue you. Song Muyang, the police reiterated. Also, if you don't have substantial evidence to prove she stole something and you still call the police, that's an intentional act of revenge, which constitutes wasting police resources. Are you sure you want to continue? Song Muyang was completely speechless, hung up the phone. I immediately opened the surveillance software. Seeing that the police had left, Song Muyang stood stiffly in the barren living room. Su Rura held his arm and gently patted his back. Muyang, don't be angry. Things can be bought again, but it's not worth ruining your health over. She fumbled to cup Song Muyang's face, tilting her head with a sweet smile. It's okay, having a place to stay is already wonderful. I'm so grateful to you after all. At that home, I could only sleep in the bathroom. Oh right, Su Rura's family really is patriarchal. Her 2 brothers sleep in the bedroom, while she has to sleep in a makeshift room made from a converted bathroom. Her brothers are quite beastly. It seems they took advantage of her blindness to try to sexually assault her. That's why she's in such a hurry to latch onto Song Muyang, seeing him as her lifeline. Are people trying to whitewash her in the previous comments? Excuse me, but which redemption story heroine doesn't have a tragic background? That doesn't justify being a homewrecker. In such an environment, I can understand that she has personality flaws, but flaws and being bad are 2 different concepts. The bullet comments didn't show any sympathy for her because of her family, but Song Muyang was heartbroken. He held Su Rura tightly in his arms. Don't worry, from now on, my home is your home. He took out a salary card and handed it to her. This is the savings from my work over the past few years. If there's anything the house needs, just buy it. If there's anything you want, just buy it. Song Muyang gazed at Su Ruru with fascination. Ruru, you know, I've always dreamed of having my own little housekeeper, someone as wonderful as you, to deserve my salary card. Su Ruru shyly bit her lip. Then, did Guan Shini ever help you manage your salary? Her, Song Muyang snorted coldly. That kind of woman, who treats the dog like her own father, deserves it. From the beginning, I told her to get rid of that dead dog, and what did she say? She said that dog is the most important family member besides her parents. It's like she's crazy. I've never seen anyone compare an animal to a human before. I remember now, when Song Muyang started dating me, he really didn't like Kong Lu, but he just said, honey, dogs carry a lot of germs, especially bad for girls. I don't want you to be in danger every day. How about we find it a new home? At the time, I thought it was just his occupational habit, so I reassured him that I regularly deworm and bathe Kangol, so there was no need to worry. Later, he brought up the topic of adoption again. I directly and seriously told him that Kangol is one of my most important family members, and even if we break up, I would never give Kangol away. He saw how determined I was, so he didn't dare bring it up again. Later, he even got along very well with Kangol. Kangol is very smart. If he treated it poorly in private, it wouldn't have paid him any attention. What's the point of going to such lengths? Soon, I found out what he was after. You've really worked hard, Muyang. Su Ruru looked heartbroken. I also think, a dog is just a dog. to quarrel with your boyfriend over it. No woman who likes her boyfriend would do that, right? Her not-so-nimble eyes suddenly shifted. I think she's been brainwashed by today's media, nowadays. Short videos treat all kinds of pets like children, and your ex-girlfriend, maybe she won't even have kids for the sake of the dog in the future. No, what kind of Qing dynasty thinking is this? We don't want kids because we're afraid of pain and can't afford them. It's not because of the dog. Okay, the female lead hates dogs so much, then why did she try to take Kong Lo from me before? It's jealousy. Didn't she say before that when she was a kid, she wanted a guide dog, but her family wouldn't buy her one, saying she wasn't worthy? So she took Kong Lo, wanting to ensure that if she couldn't have him, no one else could either. I could tell before. She deliberately stopped in the middle of the road to get Kong Lo hit. Her mind is already twisted. Song Muyang let out a cold laugh. So before, I thought about getting rid of this dog. Every time I brought snacks for this dog, I would try to feed it chocolate. My heart skipped a beat in the barrage of angry curses like, stupid, pure beast. Anger surged directly to the top of my head, but at the same time, I was immensely relieved. Fortunately, ever since Kangol was very young, I had trained it not to eat anything that dogs shouldn't eat. Unfortunately, that dog is very cunning and wouldn't eat anything. I couldn't force-feed it either. Song Muyang's voice was filled with a sinister edge. If I had known it would come to this, I should have just shoved it down its throat. As expected, Kangol didn't eat it. I finally felt relieved, but I was also on the verge of being furious. The barrage is right. The male and female leads can have personality flaws, but they shouldn't be purely evil. The redemption of the male lead shouldn't be used as a tool for a despicable relationship. The two of them don't deserve to be the main characters. Song Muyang's phone rang, and he picked it up, suddenly turning pale. What? No, director, I can explain this. It was me, my ex-girlfriend. It must have been her. She framed me. Director, you must believe me. He didn't finish, as the phone on the other end had already hung up. He stood there, somewhat panicked, fuming and gasping for breath. Guanxini, this bitch, she actually reported me. He turned to head out the door. No, I need to find my dad. He has a solution. I can't lose my job. Su Ruru anxiously grabbed Song Muyang. But I can't see. I'm scared here. Muyang, please, don't leave me. Under normal circumstances, Song Muyang would definitely comfort her properly, but this was a matter concerning his future. There was no mood left for romance. He casually patted Su Ruru on the shoulder. I'll be back soon, just stay here, and order takeout if you're hungry. After speaking, he left without looking back. Su Ruru stomped her foot angrily, then it seemed she remembered that she had become the mistress of this house. She hummed a tune happily, turned around, and found a small stool to sit on. Start shopping online without restraint using Song Muyang's card. Holy crap, she really dares to buy a $10,000 sofa, a $5,000 fridge, tens of thousands of washing and drying equipment. No way, all this stuff together, it's at least 30 or 40,000. Song Muyang has only been working for 2.5 years, right? How much could his total salary be? I laughed. Who told him to act cool, claiming the house is his and letting Su Ruru spend freely? The bullet screen also laughed. Haha, in the original plot, Song Muyang wasn't reported, and his career continued to rise under his father's maneuvering. Spending so much money on Su Ruru actually added to the sweet pet factor. This time, Song Muyang got scolded by his old man so badly that even if he's not fired, his promotion is out of the question. The bullet screen reminded me Song Muyang got into the hospital through his father's connections, so a single report letter might not be enough to get him fired. I need to think of another way. Friends, please take care of my dog for a moment. I'll be right back. Of course, I'm going to find Su Ruru. Whether or not Song Muyang will be fired, he already knows it was me who reported him. He will definitely go on a rampage to retaliate against me. Most likely, he will use public opinion to attack my pet hospital, forcing it to close down. I must prepare in advance and gather materials, occupy the moral high ground. Song Muyang is quite careless about daily life matters. He doesn't even know how to change the door password. Of course, the consecutive blows have thrown him off balance, leaving him no time to attend to such things. I opened the door to the rental apartment very smoothly. Su Ruru thought it was Song Muyang who had returned. She immediately called out, "Baby, you're back. How did things go at work?" I snorted coldly. "Baby, you're really smooth at transitioning, aren't you? Just broke up with me, and now you're all over each other." Guanxini. Su Ruru immediately changed her demeanor. She crossed her arms, full of the arrogance of a victor. what are you doing here? This is my boyfriend's and my home, you have no right to come in, didn't he tell you? I'm the one who rented this house. I shrugged. It seems you didn't do your homework well before becoming the other woman. Do you need me to show you the rental contract? I can call the security to throw you out anytime. Wah. Upon hearing that the house was rented, Su Ruru's face had already turned quite unattractive, but her strong pride wouldn't allow her to show weakness in front of me. Is that so? Then you're quite kind, spending money to rent a place for me and my boyfriend. There's no bigger fool in this world than you. Of course, she didn't know that the liquidated damages and deposit were paid with her boyfriend's money, but I won't tell her. That's exactly what I want. The more shameless she is, the better, I snorted disdainfully. A scumbag who steals dogs. I consider it paying to avoid trouble. What's there to be proud of? Picking up the trash I don't want. I looked around the house, but this place looks pretty shabby. So, Song Muyang just let you move in here. He put more effort into the doghouse he prepared for Kangol before. Could it be that in his eyes, you're not even worth as much as a dog? As soon as these words were spoken, they struck a nerve. Su Ruru exploded. Do you really think Muyang likes your broken dog? Do you think everyone is as much of a dog slave as you are? A malicious smile appeared on her face. You don't know, do you? Muyang hates dogs the most, especially the one you're raising. Every time he sees it, he feels disgusted, but he's different with me. With just a little crying, he got the dog for me. My voice was low. Why do you have to take my dog? Do you know that if I hadn't arrived in time today, Kangol would have been hit to death? Good riddance, Su Ruru shouted in a fit of anger. Do you even know how annoyed I get every time you send him voice messages, talking about Konglu? He barely has any time to spend with me, and he still gets distracted by a dog. And you, don't you have anything better to do, talking about a dog over and over again, wasting so much of his time? How can a shallow and selfish woman like you deserve such a great boyfriend? It was just a normal sharing between couples, yet she interpreted it as shallow and selfish. Song Muyang, such a cheating scumbag, was treasured by her as a precious gem. She had been trained into a thoroughly competitive and flirtatious woman. But none of this concerns me. I just want to know. So, you admit you intended to deliberately run over my dog? She sneered. You're bringing it here now. I'd still run it over. At most, I'll pay you 10 times the price. Muyang has money. He can afford it. I faced her head on, saved the entire surveillance footage from my phone. I've already got what I wanted, so I can't be bothered to waste any more words with her. Then I turned and left. Su Ruru's back was straight as a ramrod, as if she had won a victory. As soon as I got home, the live chat brought me some bad news. Song Muyang wasn't fired after all. His dad arranged for a batch of medical equipment from unlicensed manufacturers to be processed by the hospital, but the vice president suppressed the matter. Song Muyang was just scolded, and won't be able to get promoted for 2 years. Ah, the male lead is still tough. 3. No equipment. I'm intrigued. Immediately called the local famous anti-counterfeiting TV station, providing clues anonymously. It's from the batch of 2025, 430. The production number is XXXXXXXXXXXX, currently stored in the hospital's warehouse. 2 have already been put into use, respectively. In the bullet screen, standing from a god's perspective, is fully capable of providing quite detailed information. Put down the phone. I opened the surveillance again. Song Muyang had already arrived home. His face looked terrible. Su Ruru hugged him, looking frail as she told him I came to provoke her, insult her, trample on her. Song Muyang became even angrier. Fine. I was just being sentimental, not wanting to make things too ugly. Since she's acting so cheap, I'll let her know that I'm not someone she can mess with. The 2 of them discussed this all night. Finally, they came up with a plan they considered to be quite perfect. They decided to poison the area near my hospital. Since there was only one pet hospital in that area, all the poisoned pets were brought there. Then they would use online public opinion to slander me, accusing me of deliberately poisoning pets to make money. The anxious parents who loved their pets would surely tear me apart. Muyang, I think it's a waste for Kangol's dog to be with Guanxini. Is there any way to get it over here? I promise I'll teach it to go back to its cage on its own, and I definitely won't cause you any trouble. Su Ruru leaned against Song Muyang's chest and raised her hand to swear. She still wanted to outdo me. When it came to the dog, seeing her even more obedient than the dog, Song Muyang's face showed a satisfied, almost tamer-like smile. Silly girl, isn't this easy? She's already poisoned, so she must have abused the dog too. Those dog lovers won't let her keep Kangol anymore. By then, we'll just adopt it. Won't that be a natural thing to do? Su Ruru gave a smile of complete satisfaction. Muyang, you are the best person in the world to me. Song Muyang looked at her charming face, Adam's apple. Bobbing, gripping her chin, I can be even better to you. After saying that, he scooped Su Ruru up in one swift motion. The two entered the bedroom. I exited the surveillance. The bullet screen was already in a frenzy of curses. This book is completely ruined. The male and female leads are absolute villains now. Poisonous dog. Can you get any more malicious? No way. Even in a novel, I don't want to see the dog die. What kind of values does the author have to create such male and female protagonists? Those who love shit are in luck. I want to run away, but I can't bear to leave Sheeny. Sheeny, can you think of a way? Of course, we have to find a way. For the barrage, this is just a book, but for me, this is real life. No matter what, I need to warn the residents nearby first. I thought for a moment and patted Kangle. Kangle, pretend to be dead for mommy. Kangle immediately understood, obediently lying down, mouth open, looking like it couldn't breathe. I shook some egg white to create foam and poured it by its mouth. Click, click, click. Took a few photos, painted Kong Lee's tongue and mouth a bit more purple, then sent it to the hospital's patient group. Everyone, please make sure to put on muzzle when walking your dog. Recently, someone is poisoning them. In the group, a single stone stirred up 1,000 waves. What happened? Kong Lu, is it okay? Oh my god, we were walking our dogs late at night, with leashes on. Who could be so spiteful that they have to drive us to the brink? The person who poisoned them, may his son, no, may he himself be born without an anus. What should I do? My dog is very small, and there's no suitable muzzle. Sob, sob, sob. My dear hasn't been found yet, and now there's poison being spread outside. I might as well just cry myself to death. I replied, don't worry, Kangle is fine. Then tagging the obedient parent, starting tonight, I plan to patrol the area to see if there are any suspicious individuals. Those who poison will usually do it for several days. If anyone at home is free, come along. Parents reply, great, my dad is retired, I'll have him go. When the people in the group heard me say that, they also responded enthusiastically, I'm going too. This can't be delayed. We're all going. We're usually just hanging around anyway. This is a residential area for families, and there are many elderly people who keep dogs. As soon as they arrived, the group instantly grew larger. I looked at the live chat. Can you guys see every move of Song Muyang and Su Ruru? Then it's all on you. The live chat immediately understood. Ha ha ha, got it. As soon as they make a move, we'll set it up. Song Muyang and Su Ruru got caught. They really had no experience. Poisoning in the middle of the night. They didn't know that dog walkers around here all come out late at night. As soon as the bullet screen reminded me, I pretended to have a tip from an informant and rushed with the aunties and uncles to the neighborhood where they were poisoning. They were completely surrounded by elderly men and women, as well as large dogs. In the midst of continuous barking, Su Ruru once again turned into a shrieking chicken, hiding behind Song Muyang, but those elderly men and women weren't going to indulge her. Oh, now you have the nerve to scream. Why didn't you shout it out for everyone to hear when you were poisoning them? You look decent. But why don't you do anything decent? Tue, still talking about relationships. What can two people produce? Scum, parasites that harm society. Song Muyang's face turned as red as liver. He probably had never been scolded like this before. He wanted to retort, everyone has their own criteria for judgment, so why are you all cursing me? We're cursing you. What are you going to do about it? You're committing murder. Do you understand? You've lost all sense of morality. Did your parents teach you those criteria for judgment? Then your parents are animals. 2. Why are we cursing you? Because you're lacking in virtue. Song Muyang, as a doctor, has always been decisive with his patients. He's also quite skilled at manipulating others. Unfortunately, the elderly folks won't indulge him. I leisurely walked out, feigning surprise. Why are you here, Song Muyang? You cheated on me, and you even poisoned my dog. I must have been blind to have ever fallen for you. As soon as I finished speaking, the nosy neighbors immediately turned to look at me. Miss, what's going on? Is there a story here? Don't worry, we'll stand up for you. I sighed and pointed at Song Muyang and Su Ruru. Just a jerk and his mistress, nothing worth mentioning. So, the two were once again given a scolding. Su Ruru stopped screaming and tried to play the victim again. Grandpas, grandmas, please don't scold me. Sniff, I'm just a blind little girl. Oh, blind, are you? Then you should do good deeds. You know, moral corruption is why you're blind. Still a little girl. How young is she? My granddaughter knows how to protect animals. If she grows up to be a mistress, I'll beat her to death. What are you whining about? You're blind, so you harm small animals. Imagine if you could see. Anyway, that day, Song Muyang and Su Ruru completely socialized death in this area. Their dog blood-drenched scolding was captured by the neighborhood uncles and aunts, printed posters with the bold words, "Dog poisoner," plastered all over the streets and neighborhoods. Song Muyang didn't dare to pursue the matter, because the elderly folks also threatened to cause a scene at his workplace. To keep his respectable job, he quickly dragged Su Ruru away. Su Ruru still felt wronged. "Muyang, shut up," he snapped at her harshly. There was no trace of the tenderness and affection from their previous intimate moments. As I watched their disheveled backs, I thought to myself, your retribution is yet to come. 2 weeks later, the anti-counterfeiting program on unlicensed medical equipment aired. The reporter posed as a patient and exposed in detail how Song Muyang's father provided substandard equipment to the hospital and how the vice president took kickbacks. Later, Song Muyang's father was arrested. The hospital thoroughly investigated the source, and no one covered up Song Muyang's reported actions anymore. Fired for gross negligence, blacklisted within the industry, Song Muyang lost his source of income, yet watched as expensive furniture was directed by Su Ruru to be moved into the house one piece at a time. Text messages about cash on delivery kept coming in one after another. Song Muyang only realized that his salary had been spent almost to nothing. He gave Su Ruru a big slap, calling her a jinx, a money pit. What a golden-edged bee, deserved to be despised by her parents. Su Ruru couldn't believe that the person who had always cared for her suddenly revealed his true face. The broken window effect triggered her Yandere tendencies. She worked a miracle with sheer strength, a blind person managing to push Song Muyang down, hitting the corner of a table, resulting in a vegetative state. To escape legal punishment, Su Ruru started live streaming to vent her grievances, claiming to have been deceived by Song Muyang, subjected to domestic violence, and forced to poison the community, and so on. Exploiting her identity as a blind person, she earned a lot of sympathy and donations from onlookers, but she only broadcasted for 2 days. Suddenly, an account tagged her, "Are you ready for your lies to be exposed?" Under that account, a video was posted, surveillance video, the previous conversation between Su Ruru and Song Muyang at my house, her provocation towards me, her threat to run over Kangol, and the discussion of poisoning were all clearly posted. Although her face was blurred, but that coquettish voice and the habitual gesture of flipping her hair were still recognized by netizens without a doubt. Su Ruru was not only scolded to the point of having her account banned, she also incurred a massive penalty from the platform. Whether she would pay the penalty first or go to jail first became a prolonged game of tug-of-war. Even if she doesn't go to prison, she will spend her life under community supervision, taking care of Song Muyang, who has become a vegetable, cleaning up his excrement and urine. Isn't this a mutual salvation? Then one day, a strange account suddenly sent me a private message. It was Su Ruru. "Do you know, when Kangol was sent to my house, my 2 younger brothers wanted to eat it. I fought desperately to pull Kangol out. I know you might not believe it, but I want you to know the truth. I felt nothing, blocked her." So what? Perhaps human nature is complex, or maybe at that moment, she felt a pang of compassion, but after that, didn't she still walk onto the road, intending to run over Kangol? So I tend to believe that she simply didn't want to let those 2 younger brothers have their way. Being born in the mud is indeed unfortunate, but what makes a person human is their ability to make choices that improve themselves. For instance, I once had parents who named me Guanxini. I chose to pull myself out on my own, severing all ties with them. Now, I am Guanxini, our good friend, Guanxini. After hearing the stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.